Sparks that I don't remember. Hold and let it shine. Fixing stars to fade away. Fixing stars to fade away. Fixing stars to fade away.
Hello, dear friends of Kabala International. We are once again with our friend Mario. Shalom, how are you?
Shalom, very well, thank you.
Look, today we are going to deal with the subject of the Beinonim, the intermediates. But to understand in between, we should first define some criteria. And in this direction, I would like to mention that there are three terms within the spiritual statuses according to Judaism. We have the tzaddik, which is the righteous, the rasha, which is the wicked, and the beinonim, which is the in-between. And the in-between would be the spiritual portion that is between the two stages.
Well, look, we have the rasha, the evil one, where evil prevails, although on the level of rasha, which is not Amalek, there is always a point of light. In that level of rasha, there is an evil one with a point of light, and in the tzaddik there is light with a point of darkness. At the level of the in-between, we could say that the forces are each at 50%. The Beinoni, the intermediate, has the Yetzer Hatov, the tendency to good, and the Yetzer Hara, the tendency to evil, almost equal. So the chances that he will go to evil are 50%, and the chances that he will go to good are 50%. He has 50 rasha and 50 tzaddik. Sometimes it's half tzaddik, sometimes it's half rasha, sometimes it's I'm righteous, I'm good, I learned, and it seems like it's going towards tzaddik, and all of a sudden evil things appear. There are a lot of different Benoni, right? 40-60, 30-70, more or less. The Benoni is the majority group because the one that has 20% of light can already be qualified as Benoni. Even those who have 90% light with 10 of darkness are still Benoni. As you can see, the Benoni are not 50-50. It is a very large set of Beinonim inclined to the tzaddik and of Beinonim inclined to the rasha. We could say that there are two subsets of Beinonim, but that most of us are in the Beinonim. That is to say, the tzaddik, we are already talking about someone who is very worked up. Within, with great virtues, not only discovered, but developed and revealed in high potency. And the same with the rasha in reverse, the klipo developed in their potential as well, but in reverse on the level of the klipo. So what is it about the Beinoni? First of all, the Beinoni is a person who knows he is imperfect, who knows that he has to work hard. The tzaddik, of course, he works, but as the Kabbalists say, he loses a little bit of free choice, because the tzaddik is always choosing the good. So he doesn't have a great work of choice, because by his nature he is inclined towards good. And so is the rasha. He doesn't have a lot of free will play. In the Beinoni there is a lot of growth, because there is a lot of free will. He is permanently seeing how to grow, how not to fall to the level of rasha, and how to think about what strategies to follow to rise to be tzaddik. The group of the Beinonim is the one that represents us the most, because they are the ones who are working within the imperfection. Now there is a problem with the Beinonim if you have an absolute vision regarding them. Look, there is a theologian who today is a champion theologian within Christianity, but who was born and developed in Judaism, who is Saul of Tarsus, Paul. As a religious man in his beginnings, then came his transformation. He sought the scrupulousness of the commandment, the fulfillment of the Torah to the end. So, what happens? It is assumed that the tzaddik in his scrupulousness fulfills the commandments to the letter, and that the Beinonim are not for the scrupulous fulfillment of the commandments. So where is the problem? If we see the commandments as general, we are not just talking about the specific commandments of the Jewish religion, but the ethical ones. Also, the scrupulousness of becoming tzaddik can make you see the Beinonim as suspicious because they tend to be evil. So I don't think you have to play absolutes with the Beinonim, because in reality they are the ones who are working on their imperfection the most. They are the ones who have resigned themselves the least. The tzaddik is already by his very nature moving forward, but he does not have the conflicts of the Beinonim. The Beinonim is very much in the reality of what is happening to him, very much in his inner work. The Beinonim is working hard to get out of it. The Beinonim has the aspiration of the tzaddik, and therefore the tzaddik is a level of aspiration that leads him to develop a lot. Suddenly someone who by his gift, by his soul nature, was born a tzaddik, does not have to work as much as the Beinonim, because by his very nature, his soul took him there. If you tell me, look, I know tzaddikim, I know righteous people who have worked and come from the group of the Beinonim, I would tell you, well, perfect. He is a righteous who has trained to become a tzaddik. But sometimes it happens that there are tzaddikim whose soul by its nature comes refined. So why does he wear the Beinoni as an unrefined soul? Why does he put it to work? Because when he gets there, he's going to have less bread from shame. That is, the work done by the Beinoni, an effort every day to try to be better, to be a better person, is very commendable. He is not on autopilot. Sometimes the tzaddik is on autopilot. It's good, and all of a sudden he doesn't think, he doesn't have a problem. Has no problem. And the Rasha has no problem either. He does evil without conscience. He has no problem. Both are unproblematic. The Beinonim works every day. He strives to be better. Sometimes he falls without realizing it, or sometimes intentionally, in moments of being a Rasha, and says, but how bad I did it. I have to do better. The Beinonim is the most unbalanced in favor of growth. The others, at the extremes, are quite resigned. It is very difficult for Rasha to pass to Beinonim because Rasha is already, the evil is useful for his identity. And it is also difficult for the tzaddik to be Beinoni because he is already defined there by nature. If we compare the tzaddik with the Beinonim, what are you going to say is the tzaddik superior? I would tell you that the Beinonim is superior because I think the tzaddik also has a point of darkness. In some sense, he is also a Beinonim. So I believe that the tzaddik should look at that point of darkness and should be careful that the light does not blind him. The Beinonim has no light to blind him and no darkness to suck him like the Rasha. That means it has many advantages. The tzaddik can have a self-seduction of his status as a tzaddik. And in addition, we should take one more care. In the broad lines of Chassidism, the tzaddik was defined as being the son of the leader or religious leader of that group. I do not believe in hereditary tzaddikim. I do not believe that anyone is righteous, because this is what the text of Ezekiel says in the biblical text. The father does not inherit the sin of the son, nor does the son inherit the sin of the father. Each one is responsible for his transgression. When in the movements, especially in Chassidism, the tzaddik, son of the tzaddik, is chosen as successor, I no longer know if the son is as tzaddik as the tzaddik, nor do I know if the father was as tzaddik as the son. To me, the monarchical dynastic choice of a tzaddik seems rather suspect. The tzaddik came about by the nature of the soul, not by the designation of a movement to be the heir. It is a total misrepresentation of what Chassidism has done with the figure of the tzaddik. There can be no tzaddik by inheritance. The tzaddik is the work that the soul achieves through the Beinoni. I glorify the Beinoni. It is the person who every day goes out of his house, goes out to work, and goes out to be a better person. All of us are Beinonim. The person who wants a better world, the person who is in an NGO, all of us who strive every day, those of us who do not consider ourselves righteous of anything, those of us who do not consider ourselves tzaddikim, but who are every day doing the best possible and every time the best possible. And we are in between because we do not consider ourselves tzaddikim. We know that we are not Rasha because we are not in an inertia of evil, but we are not in the good either. Sometimes we make mistakes, we fall, we are imperfect, and we debate. Sometimes we would like to debate and we end up arguing and we should not argue. I believe that the Beinonim has a high category. And beware, the Beinonim is not lukewarm.
Yes, the Beinonim is committed, but there is also an intrinsic nature to the Beinonim that is related to freedom.
Yes, and also with the fall. The Beinonim falls into evil or falls into imperfection and has to get up. And who is righteous is the one who falls 7 times and gets up 7 times. The Proverbs and biblical texts say that the Beinonim who fell 7 times is more tzaddik than the tzaddik who never fell.
It is important to keep in mind that in our nature, to put it in a way, to go about doing this work within the Beinonim, it is important to keep in mind that in the Beinonim there is a potential for tzaddik and a potential for Rasha.
Yes, but this Beinonim is working all day long trying to do it.
To one side or the other.
By the nature of the structure of the universe, the Rasha is working for evil, the tzaddik is working for good, and the Beinonim is confused. But the Beinonim is conscious of wanting to be a tzaddik, has no consciousness of wanting to be Rasha, because Rasha also wants to get out of being evil and wants to take a point of light in the darkness. We all want to go to the light. The tzaddik is closer, the Beinonim is working, and the Rasha is far away. But the Rasha, if he is not Amalek, that is another matter. The Rasha, the evil one, also wants to see where the light is. We do not start from the idea that there is a group of Beinonim who want to be evil. Or else what? It gets ugly, doesn't it? Why do they want to go to the light? The Rasha wants to connect to the light. Sometimes he cannot connect to the light because he is ignorant. Evil operates out of the ignorance of not connecting to the light. Someone who is evil and wants to remain evil and declares himself to be evil is ignorant. Evil has no future. What is the future of evil? To die or to kill? What future does evil have? Evil is death. Evil has no future. Goodness has a future because it is life and construction. So something is wrong with the evil one, which is a false perception of reality. Evil does not end well. Sometimes good does not end well, but it does not matter. Good is good in its process, not in how it ends. We know that evil always ends badly, because evil is destructive by its very nature. It builds nothing. And everything it builds is to destroy. Therefore, Rasha, if he manages to have a new intelligence, he connects with the light. The problem of the evil one is that the evil one intrinsically is ignorant. There may be intelligent wicked who use intelligence for evil, but from the point of view of Kabbalah, they are ignorant because they are intelligent and ignorant. Beware of this. Intelligence does not mean that it does not have ignorance. There are very intelligent and very ignorant people. Intelligence for evil denotes ignorance, because ignorance is ignorance of how the universe works. Evil has no future. Evil is self-destructive and destructive. Therefore it has no future. Instead, the only one that has a future is good. Why? Because it builds. When it sees that the construction is more or less complete, it builds again or destroys to build. Good is permanently striving for continuous improvement. But the force of evil is a force of ignorance. It is a force of not knowing where to put the force, where to put the energy. So evil has no destiny and is created only for us to ascend the tree of life. Evil has its function. The Rashaim, the evil ones, want to connect with that point of light. The The Beinonim have 50% light, or 60 or 70, and the tzaddikim are very close to the light. So we are all going towards the light. I go back to the exception of Malek, which I don't want to go into here. But we are all on the way to the light because the darkness, if it thinks it is going to gain something, in its ignorance it thinks it is going to gain something, but it gains nothing. Evil never wins anything. It may make money eventually, but then it sinks again. Evil always ends badly. There is no way for evil, because evil is based on destruction. Therefore, you have to self-destruct or destroy others. So how much will you destroy? Imagine an evil that sets out to destroy humanity. When humanity is destroyed, there is no more evil because it has finished destroying itself. It means that evil can no longer exist. When it can no longer destroy, it is finished. On the other hand, in the universe it is a universe in expansion, of construction, and therefore good is like the foundation of the universe, not evil. So, how do we get the wicked out of evil and the Beinonim out of the evil part they have? By telling them not to ignore how the universe works. Do not be ignorant of how the universe works. Be wise about how it works, and then, knowing how the universe works, you will put that intelligence at the service of the light. But all this is a process that all Beinonim do. The Rasha should also do it. What happens is that the Rasha is more trapped because it has a great level of darkness. So the Rasha feels good in that spirit of evil. But the Rasha would also have to do it. It costs him much more because he is trapped by darkness. But even if it costs him more, it doesn't mean that he can't do it. That is to say, the Rasha can also do it. The Rasha can become the Beinonim. And the Beinonim can become Tzaddik, and a Rasha can become a Tzaddik. If you first worked a lot as Beinonim, it means that the work is defined in between.
Very good, Mario. We will work more in detail on the Tzaddik and the Rasha.
We are in between. We have to keep working.
We have to keep working. Very good, Mario. Thank you. Shalom.